There's just something about these mountains. They change you. For me, they're home, but I don't think it matters where you're from. When you wake up and you see that smoke, you see those mountains, you see that lake, you smell the air, it takes you to a whole different world. And when you put really talented people in that environment, you get something truly unique. You get stories that aren't going to be told anywhere else. You get a show that's not going to be seen anywhere else, but in a castle. These are the Castle Sessions.
This is a song about hillbilly justice against the meth lab that run my family out of business, who were making an honest living making moonshine during Prohibition.
Welcome, everybody.
The first time I played the Opry,
Yeah.
I'm going down the alley. I pull up, Garth's walking out of a building, and I just stand up on the side of my truck and said, "Garth, I'm playing the Opry tonight." He goes, "Good, I hope you piss your pants."
Evil's cooking and it's smelling strong, but it's our business, so mind your own. Something's cooking and it just ain't right. Hell's Kitchen gonna burn tonight. They used to make a living off of bathtub gin. When the hippies showed up, weed was in. They profit off of weakness and they always have. Now meth is a recipe for cold hard cash. Something's cooking and it just ain't right.
I played the Opry, and I still smoked, and at that time I'm walking with little Jimmy Dickens in the back, and I'm like, "Jimmy, I don't think they're going to have me back." And I just walked off the stage with three standing ovations, and he goes, This probably has to be off the record."
No.
But he looked up at me and he goes, "Matt, just do your own thing. Everybody else in the world's been hit in the ass with Travis Tritt already." That's phenomenal.
I know there were two full albums on Atlantic Records, major label in town. Can you? I just want you to play me. If I'm Mr. Music Man, if I'm Joe Galante, or if I'm whoever,
Okay.
what would you play me as that Matt King?
Wow, this is on the spot.
Yeah, Castle Sessions.
It ain't Jack Daniels and it ain't Jim Beam that helped me hold on to what used to be a fragrant reminder I'm not over you. I'm stoned on a bottle of your sweet perfume.
So, does that not make you feel good? Oh my God.
Well, country radio said, "Matt, we love you, but you are way
Who
too country
cares
for
about
radio."
country?
I said, "I'm too country for country radio. What do you mean?"
Well, I ain't been around that long, but I've done my fair share of living. Had my ups and my downs, my long way rounds, more than a time or two. But of all the loves I've stolen, gambled, or given, there's just three things, just three things that I know to be true. Hearts break, whiskey burns, fools like me, oh, we never learn. We keep lining up to take another turn like we don't know. Hearts break, whiskey burns, and fools like me never learn. Now I'm gonna tell y'all, both Matts will be the first to agree with me on this. It is sort of like an anomaly. It never happens to see an artist actually come out with their first single being the very first song that they wrote, maybe together in a band or as a solo artist. You usually are going to write a lot of mediocre, fair to partly crappy songs in the beginning. I was with the band, a couple of knuckleheads, and we called ourselves Trick Pony. And we went on the road, and we worked all over creation, opening for everybody you can possibly imagine. And one day we sat down, and we were in one of my partner, Keith Burns' old house. We were up in the sort of the man cave. And we wrote this song. I was sitting on the pool table. It's actually his ex-wife's new house, not his old house, but that's another bottle of wine. So we just, we wrote this song, and fast forward 4 years past that, we got a record deal on Warner Brothers Records. Pour me, pour me, pour me, pour me another shot of whiskey. A bartender hit me one more time. He left, and I cried. I'm lost inside, won't you help me? Said feeling to the top, gonna hit it right bottom this time. Come on, man, King.
I was going through a divorce, and in 2011, I called Ray. I just said, wife's left, thanks, this is going on. And he said, come on down. So I drove that 12 hours, went to Wimberley. Yeah. But Ray had been sort of like a mentor. It wasn't like he volunteered. It's sort of like he didn't have a choice, I was there.
Mm-hmm. So before I knew it, I got to make this record, and I went on the road. I went on the road with John Hyatt, Taj Mahal, Robert Earl Keen, Ray Wiley Hubbard. And when I got to Texas, Ray Wiley Hubbard pulled me in and said, you got something here, son.
The two things I can say from Ray is, one is being right-sized. If this is what I have today, let's do the very best we can with that. Yeah. Let's not try to be this today. Let's absolutely be right-sized. And the other thing is managing expectations. And that was the big one for me with Ray was, there's a quote somewhere where people quote him always, on days that I keep my gratitude higher than my expectations, those are really good days.
So that's what I did, and before I knew it, I'm singing these bluegrass songs a cappella with a silly fedora on in front of rock audiences and these hardcore country audiences, and they love it. I was standing by the bedside where my fever mother lay. I grew up singing in church, so I was one snake shy of salvation my whole life, because it was like, it was an old school Baptist church, and then I grew up on gospel and bluegrass music. When you grow up in these mountains and you hear somebody singing bluegrass, you're a real snob about it, because you can tell. Is that real? Is that real stuff? Because there's something about the ache in that music. I've just crossed the river of Jordan. Now, my son, I'm homeward bound. And that's all I would do.
Yeah.
And so
just keep doing that. I'll be okay.
Well, I don't know what that means, because that's just what I grew up doing. So that just is proof positive. I suppose we're supposed to do whatever is authentic, because when I did a lot of the other stuff, it just kind of went, okay, cool. So I don't know. I mean, that's the next phase now. I've got a Heidi, and really?
I love it.
She never cries.
It's a heartache, nothing but a heartache. Come on with me. Hits you when it's too late. Hits you when you're down. It's a fool's game. Nothing but a fool's game, standing in the cold rain, feeling like a clown. Yeah. We were doing Big River on our first record, and Johnny and Waylon were supposed to come in together, and we had a date set up, and Johnny showed up for it. And Waylon, unfortunately, was still in Arizona. He came in 2 weeks later. So the track was already cut. Waylon comes in two weeks later. And we went ahead and just we were still in our places, and so I was standing across looking at Waylon, who's, and you have to understand, like even from my hat, I wanted to be a female Waylon Jennings. I thought Waylon was about the coolest dude on the planet. That voice, that big, husky, rich voice, and those songs, oh man, I just resonated with me. And so to be in the same room and singing on a record, looking at the man himself, and Waylon had his headphones on, and he hears that harmonica come across the line, and he says, whoa, whoa. So engineering, when Waylon raises his hand, you stop. So he says, who's that blowing that harp? And I'm silent. I'm never silent. I'm silent over there, and I think Ira points at me, and he points over at me, and he goes, that's you? That's you on that harp? I said, yes, sir. And he said, come here. We're going to sing this one together. And I said, okay, yes, sir. So he says, come over here now. Quit being so nervous. Now, come here. And he pulls me in, and he puts his arm around my waist, and he holds me tight. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, my God. I'm singing Big River with Waylon. That was, with Waylon damn Jennings. What is happening? This is the coolest. Thank you, God. This is an aha pinch me moment. And sure enough, I'm just singing my little tail off. I'm just going, man, I've got this. I'm gonna impress him. He's gonna love this. I got my eyes closed. I'm just singing away, and the next thing I know, he licked me like this, like a dog. I'm not kidding. You can't make this stuff up. Well, now, some people kind of look like that, and they go, ew. I don't know. I, on the other hand, thought, that's so rad. Waylon just licked my face. And then I thought, oh, I can't just bow out. So I just turned around and licked him back. Yeah, I taught the weeping willow how to cry, cry, cry. And I showed the clouds how to cover up a clear blue sky.
And the tears I cried for that woman are gonna flood you, Big River. And I'm gonna sit right here until I die.
Yeah, now I'm gonna sit right here until I die. That's right.
This is a song that was recorded on an Atlantic record. You could actually find this one still. I look like Errol Flynn, still have hair. Before I started shaving my hair off, but I'll tell on myself, if you see this album, it's called Hard Country, and I have a leather jacket on. My name should actually be Colt Leatherback Envil. And this song was on the record, and I'm so thankful that other people have recorded it, because I think it's an important song. It's about moments. It's about moments, and that's what we have. And hopefully those moments will come back around. So even though the song was never on the radio, it's my favorite song to get to play. Oh, and it's about these mountains, and I might cry.
I might cry too.
Because I'm home. And when I come home, I don't get to come home. If these mountains get in your soul, whether you're from here or not, they do something to you.
Once I was a Christian, I lived upon this earth. But I died and I went to heaven, where I got my second birth.
I compared my self-worth and my musical value based on where it was charting, and then when that ended was how big the audiences were. Okay, so now it's just how authentic am I being with myself when I sit down to write this.
When the sun came down on me. In one life I was an outlaw, I lived up in the hills. I'd run the alcohol to the buyers from the still.
I don't know if you can tell by now, but I'm a bunch of fun. Anyway, so he says, Heidi, I think you should come over to the lake house and meet June. You two would hit it off. And I said, well, it's how's Tuesday's good for me. And I wasn't kidding. And he said, I I'm serious. And I said, oh, I'm serious. And so I showed up that following Tuesday, not kidding, from a writing appointment, and showed up in Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash's lake house, which is pretty much, I think, depicted in the movie, in Hendersonville, Tennessee. And we became, I don't know, there was just June, oh my gosh. She was hilarious. She was honest. She was naturally a comic. She didn't have to try to be. Nothing was forced. And she was precious. And Heidi, come in here. I've got these antiques I want to show you. And hold on, before we go inside, come let me show you my new herb garden. And John and JR would say, now, June, she doesn't have all day. John, now, listen, she's my guest, okay? Now, you just hush up. And there he's sitting with 2 different mismatched socks. And it was just so cool to see the real, like, that man. He was so human. And in our eyes, he was, he is and will always be the man in black.
The power that lies in the lyric and in a melody of a great song, sometimes we're just so wrapped up in it. You know what I mean? We think, hey, I think this might hit a lick. This is pretty cool.
So little did I know that, 7 years later, I'd be in a room with 2 wonderful, wonderful ladies who are my dear friends to this day, Stephanie Smith and Deanna Bryant. We scrutinized over every single word and every chord in this song, and it became my first solo hit after coming out of Trick Pony, which never happens. You don't be the lead singer of a successful group and then come out on your own and get to do it again. But I did because of this song.
Oh, there's something about a man in black, makes you wanna buy a Cadillac, throw the top back, roll down to Jackson Town. I wanna be there on the stage with you. You and I could be the next rage to hear the crowd roar, make them want more, and kick the footlights out. I wanna love like Johnny and June, rings of fire burning with you. I wanna walk the line, walk that line to the end of time. I wanna love you that much, cash it on in, give it all up. And when you're gone, I wanna go to like Johnny and June. Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, Heidi Newfield, Matt King, the Castle Sessions.